Hello, welcome pen friends. This is a requested video, and when I went back to try to find the comment where the person requested to see who it was that asked for the video, I couldn't find the comment. I'm not sure which video it was on. I went to 2 or 3 videos looking. But anyway, I decided this would be a really fun video to do, and it might get me kind of back in the lane, so to speak, because I had a little setback from being sick, and now I'm better again and hoping to stay that way. So I'm going to talk about my journals and planners that I'm going to use for 2025. And I thought about it a lot. I thought about how I might do it at my desk, but I don't really like to go deeply into each planner because people's birthdays and sensitive information are in there. So I'd really rather show you and talk about each one, like how I use it, how they interact with each other, which you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I just decided to do it my way and just see how it goes, because if I'm enthusiastic about it, which I am, it tends to go better. So what we'll do is, I've got a big stack here of all the notebooks and planners that I'm using for 2025. And I thought, well, this seems silly. It's a lot, right? But I really enjoy using quite a bit of what I have. And as it is, I'm a little bit miserly, a little bit hoardy about, really nice notebooks. So I believe I'm getting better at using the really good stuff. But I can always use more encouragement, encouraging myself not to just save everything, because, it's not a really good plan, to just be saving everything. So I guess I should just dive right in. Oh, and I will say that when I get done showing you everything I'm using, I have a few to show you that'll be next, because I don't just hop in a new notebook because of the year changing. I used to do that, but now I'm much more likely, especially in my bullet journal, to be caught halfway through, and that's really good paper and super good notebook, so there's no way I'm gonna leave it until I've finished all the papers, all the pages. But I will be talking also about changes, what I'm changing for this year versus 2024. Also, my biggest challenge, which I put challenge, but I found more than one challenge to discuss. So who knows, maybe just in talking about it, I'll think of answers. And also, when we get into the comment section, we tend to have lively conversations about these things, and I learned so much. So, and then another thing that may be woven throughout will be, what my primary purposes are for each one of these. Because I wouldn't want to get along without any one of them. But if I had to, then we're going to discuss that, because I got a little circle here. I'm going to tell you which one I would want to take if I, could only use one, or if there was a reason why, a bag that heavy wouldn't work somewhere else or whatever. There is one that would work. So I guess that's it. We'll dive right in. And it may get a little bulky because there's a lot of notebooks here. But interestingly, in my mind, I have to start with the 2 tools that I use to keep us as a family on track so that we're not double booking. So the first one is the little Dollar Tree planner, which is a monthly style, which I just insist on. Let's see if I can find one that doesn't have a birthday. Yeah, well, it doesn't have one written in. Okay, so it's just a plain old, I guess they're $1.25 now, but you get a 2-year planner, and that's what I've got, the 2025 to 2026 with the little kittens. And I carry this absolutely everywhere, because any one of us, including the animals, if there's an appointment, we don't like to double book ourselves too much. Sometimes I'll have a Zoom or something, and Manuel will have an appointment outside the house, and that can still work. But even so, if I want to go with him, I kind of have to make sure that we are aware. So this one goes with me everywhere. Right, I carry kind of a small, it's a rickshaw koozie case with a strap and everything, and it may not be the most glamorous little bag, but it fits this and my phone and my wallet, and that's really all I want to carry. It's minimal when I go out, unless I'm deliberately packing a tote bag to go to a doctor appointment or a procedure where I'm going to be waiting with someone and it's going to be a long time. So then the next one, because I just can't not mention this, is that we have the big calendar on the wall, and I just took it off the wall, and it's just a big monthly one with big squares. This one was $1.25 too. I found it at the Dollar Tree. It was an oddball to be at the Dollar Tree, I thought, but it's beautiful. It's got all the lighthouses on it. So this gets messy, but I jot in all the appointments. See, it does have large squares. So this lives right below the telephone. And so if it's Manuel's appointments, my appointments, any of the cats, and then one of our family members where we're transport and accompanying, it goes on here. And it tends to help quite a bit to keep, you know, these two things kind of work together. Okay. So I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm already thinking about the next category where I talk about problems, because there are always some things that I think about when I wonder if maybe I could make my job easier, but we'll get to that category. So then the next notebook that I'm using is a long form journal, and right now it's the GLP Creations The Author. It's a lined notebook with 68 GSM Tomoe River Paper, truly luxurious. This was sent by Pen Friend MS, and I have really loved this. I'm almost at the end. Yeah, I'm right at the end because there's just barely any paper left. So I've already chosen my next notebook, and I always kind of like to have a sticker on them if I can. But this, I write in this at least twice a day. Usually in the morning I'll write you know, something just to kind of get things started. But I'm really loyal, really good at writing, like say around 4 to 6 o'clock, you know, that kind of the end of the day, right before I start reading. Then I'm really good about the Dear Diary stuff, you know, in here. It's not so much memory keeping as it is just offloading, you know, brain dumping and kind of emptying out all my thoughts onto the page. So that's the next one. And then, you know, my main, my main notebook is my bullet journal, and it's a Leuchtturm official. I've got it in a Lochby Field Journal, the A5 size. So let me just take the notebook out because, you know, we're talking about the notebook right now, but that's okay. It lives in there in the Lochby, so it is a Leuchtturm official bullet journal, and this is the green one, or maybe it has a different color name. I like my sticker. A pen friend sent the sticker too. It was, you know, printed, and then it's the little photo was a sticker too. Never let anyone dull your sparkle. I just love that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, other than the fact that I can't do a decent braid, she kind of looks like me in a way, sort of. Okay. So in here, my main purpose in my bullet journal, it's not really planning. It's about me having a place to, a notebook that I love, where I can come in every day and do a daily list. And it's not just to-dos. It's things I don't want to forget. And so a lot of review, these two notebooks, you know, the bullet journal and the regular, you know, long form journal are often together because I really like to keep, how should I say it? I'm not going to say I keep totally emotions out of this notebook, but in a way I do. It's much more about tasks, things I don't want to forget, subjects that I might want to look into, but I know very well that I can't do everything in one day. You know, I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things interest me, and it's always been like that. But knowing that this is my second brain and I can put the information down, it really, really helps. Now, I do also do you know, like a monthly spread on here every month. And I used to be really good at filling in each day like a one-sentence journal, but I've noticed I'm using this more as just an overview. I wouldn't have to do this in here, and I can experiment. That's what I love about a bullet journal. It's a blank notebook. It's not filled in for you, so you can make it anything you want. And you know, like I have been known to do collections where I'll start, you know, a section and work on like a subject within Stoicism or something. Or I did some government subjects that I put in here, like, and I was learning a bunch of stuff. And so it is now indexed. And when I tend to remember which notebook I did what in. Like I did a really comprehensive book study one year on the book on Stoicism. It's probably not going to jump out at me. Maybe I have it out. How to Be a Stoic is the name of it. And I have that in my yellow Leuchtturm. And I'll never probably forget that the notes on that book are in the yellow bullet journal. So that's kind of the way my brain works. And I'll probably remember that this one has, let's see, I'm not even halfway through. I'm about a third of the way through this one. So, and I have another bullet journal ready, thanks to a really generous pen friend who wanted to be anonymous, but we'll look at that in a little while. I've got it right here. So, you know, I love these. I did not love the 120 GSM paper at first because it didn't quite feel the same as the regular Leuchtturm paper, and I somehow missed it, but now I see the beauty of every single fountain pen that I write within here. I don't have bleed through. I don't have problems at all. I can just use any of my pens. And often I'm boring and I pick up the gray or the black ink, you know, Cross Black or Graf von Faber-Castell Stone Gray. But, you know, I do lists, you know, I mean, like here's one just randomly. Vote for mayor, post office, color vent ink, cook meal, clean fridge, trash out and recycling, JCPenney, natural grocer. I even did a little quick worries and weight on me. Okay, so I did dump a little bit of what would normally go in one of the next journals in here, but that's rare. This is much more practical, much more about just helping, assisting my brain, which definitely I deal with attention issues, and so it keeps me on track. And even if I don't stay on track, when I come back in here, I can save the day. I can find what it was that I really wanted to follow up on, and it's here. And there's an official word for that when you bring it forward, and I'm not thinking of it right now, but you know, you make a little arrow and bring it forward on your new list. And so I truly love these books. And I think in a way, maybe I don't write more. I don't consolidate notebooks because I want these notebooks to last longer. And they end up on my shelf as a real reference to my life. And so if it was full of a bunch of, you know, this is what happened today, then I wouldn't enjoy it as much. But I know people who do everything in one, and I admire that. I think that's really cool, and in a way it might be easier on your brain. But I've tried it. I've tried to do that, and it didn't work for me. I wanted to have all of that in a separate notebook. So that's kind of how I go about it. Okay, so I'm going to put this back in here, at least so that it doesn't like fall on the floor or become awkward. Okay, so then the next notebook that I want to talk about is one I've talked about many times too. I had to take the sticker off the front. I had one of those stickers that you could color on that I got at the Dollar Tree, but it started peeling off. And then one day it was laying on the table and Toby like attacked it and he got it off kind of. And then I tried taping it and it just looked like crap. And so I realized, I wonder if I take it off, if it'll be okay. And it didn't. The notebook underneath was great. But this one has less than a quarter of its pages left. I'm just on the final frontier in this one. And it's a CVS Caliber, the larger size. With I think this has, yeah, this might be college ruled. It looks college ruled. And I love it because, okay, here's one I can show you. I just did this. I did, well, yeah, okay, it's got a bunch of names. Well, we'll just cover up part of it. You know, it was things that lift me. And of course, these people may not want to be broadcast that they lift me, even though they may not know they do. Okay, or, you know, that's a good thing, and yet it might be a little TMI, too much information. But, you know, I've got one little section for pen hobby, people. That's the one I covered up to, you know, save the innocent. You know, being outdoors, my cats, reading books, organizing and decorating. It was kind of a part of my process notebook where I could, you know, think of all the good things. And then, like, I'll do, like, the journal format that my counselor has me working on. I'm back with my counselor again, a couple times a month. And I mentioned his book in the past. It's called Lift, and it's by Tim Tate. And so his journal process is in that book, and it's on Amazon, I think. I think it's still on Amazon. I know he's done a revision. So this is one that I'm not in every single day, except for when I'm really needing to process a bunch of stuff. I like to pour out all the stuff into the process notebook that I may or may not keep. Some of the older ones I've gotten rid of. I've shredded, you know, I don't do burning. Definitely no burning in Texas right now. And that, of course, reminds me of what's going on in California. I hope none of you are affected by it, but basically so many more than actually live there are going to be affected by those fires, because we know people and care and worry and as it changes and everything. But anyway, I didn't want to really bring that into this space, but my prayers are going up continuously for the people affected and those who love people who are affected by the fires. Anyway, how did I get there? It's because, yeah, I prefer to use a shredder. I don't ever like take chances with fire, especially after my hair got burned that time with Manuel, trying to help him. Anyway, this is a very important notebook for me, and I've got maybe 4 or 5 of them full that I look back on, and sometimes it's a little discouraging because I need to look back more often and kind of make sure that I'm following up, that I'm not just complaining, but that I'm working on the issues. And so, and that I'm being balanced, because if there are negative, stressful things, there are also things that'll lift me up. And that's why I did that page right before I talked with my counselor, and it helped me because we always try to balance, if I'm going through depression or a lot of anxiety, I still especially then need to be able to look at both sides, and look at the positives. Okay, so let's see. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to show the brand new to me that you haven't seen last. So the next notebook that I use all the time is a little A6 hardcover. This may be a little bit odd sized. I think, yeah, we found out it wasn't exactly pocket size because it's too wide, but it was just something I found on Amazon. And I am very random about whatever notebooks I have that in this size range. It becomes my food journal. And this one happens to be lined, but often they're either blank or they're dot or their grid. I really don't care. This is messy. And each day I just start with a little box in the corner where I put, the number of hours I fasted. It's kind of rare for me to go below 20, but the next day I had an 18. That must have been something special. Anyway, I put that and then I write down everything that I eat and the time and everything. So it kind of helps me to see what's working and what isn't, for energy, for everything, for sleep, for just everything. And like I said, it's messy, but I always keep them. And I used to keep them in more of a booklet style, but then I was always having to change. I only got maybe 30 or 45 days out of the smaller ones. And this one has been going on since September 7th. And I'm almost finished, but I have another one lined up. Let's see. Oh, I ended up doing history notes in the back page. I must have been too lazy to get up to get my notebook. I need to get that ripped out and put in the right, taped into the right notebook. But, yeah, so I use this, I call it, I guess, a food diary or whatever, every day. Okay. And then over beside my computer, I almost didn't include this, but I call this my Commonplace notebook, but it's just a place where I can put I think I traded a notebook. This was manuals, and I traded some other notebook set or something with him. He said he would rather use the smaller notebooks because a pen friend sent this for him, and I gave it to him, but we ended up trading. So this one is one of those Bookaroo ones, I think. That's a name. Yeah. Usually they put that on the front, though. I don't see it. Anyway, it is lined, and it's perfect. It's got the place, you know, to put your date and everything, and I just make my notes. These are really messy notes, and they do end up transferred into the bullet journal or transferred into the next journal, which is my long-term keeping of my book lists, that, you know, books that I'm interested in. So I know this sounds complicated, but it actually has evolved over several years, and I'm really happy with most of it. I mean, I'll talk about some of the challenges in a little bit here, but the next is, it used to be in my red, which used to be pink, Chic Sparrow Traveler's Notebook, but now this Lochby, which I just reviewed just a few days ago, it's a pocket-sized, the Lochby Mini Field Journal. So I will link that at the end and the so that you can find that review if you're interested. But I have 4 of the little notebooks in here, and I keep this going so that when I go to the library, when I even go online to research books, and when I go to the bookstore, the half-price bookstore, which we're really blessed to have here. And I don't go that often. In fact, Manuel took a picture of me last time because he said that it was so strange, you know, that we actually went to the bookstore. But a lot of that is the discovery of thrift books online and being able to find exactly what you want and the price is right, you know. So, but there's something about going to a bookstore, even if I don't buy anything, that I really enjoy. But that's tough. That's tough to go into a bookstore and not come out with something. So, yeah, so I really love this, and it's proven that it works with the heavier, thicker leather one, and I think this is just going to be much better. It's smaller for me to carry. I do end up having to throw my little rickshaw bag and this into a slightly larger bag when I carry it, because it's definitely not fitting. It's almost the same size as what I carry for total for what you might call a purse or whatever. So. Okay, so then new to me this year, my local friend gave me this planner, and it's just gorgeous. It's got a zipper. It's, I didn't actually measure it, but it's looking like about 8 by 10 or something like that, just roughly. And it looks like it came from Mardell's, and it's just gorgeous. Let's unzip it and we'll look at it. I've got it kind of tabbed now. I put some tabs in. Oh, my pens are going to fall out. Nice being zippered like that. I did put in a Palomino Blackwing pencil and a disposable fountain pen that someone sent me that it says Snow White FP20. This is the black one. And I thought maybe this paper would be problematic, so I was a little bit like concerned. But of course I went in here and I went to the back and did a pen test, and I was blown away because all of my medium nibs, and they didn't do any bleed through. I did the pen test at the back. Whoops, I don't know if you can even read what those are. It's kind of hard, it's awkward. But I TWSBI Eco 3 medium ones with Graphon Faber-Castell Stone Gray, Conway Stewart Tavy, TWSBI Crimson, and then I had a broad nib with J. Arbonne Lier Sauvage. Okay, it's that green ink, really pretty. And it tried, but it did not succeed. It barely, you can't even see it. I can't see it really where it tried to bleed through, so I'm not going to worry about it. I know I can use it. So that means that just about everything I have for pens will work on this. Now, what's interesting about this is this was the year when I decided not to do a Hobonichi Weeks. And I do like a week's format. So this has that. Let me see if I can find one that I haven't scribbled. Yeah. So I have not scribbled yet into the last week in January. So it has a weekly format. And it has a really nice monthly format for each month. I haven't written in March yet, so there it is. And then it's got spots for your day, like for, well, yeah, on that weekly spread, you've got a place for every day and a place for notes and everything. And it's like, this is the planner I didn't know I needed or didn't know I wanted. And I'll have a lot of fun with this. So it's really, really neat. And I will, when we get around to talking about challenges, that's where one of them comes in. But I am writing, I had something like this last year. I don't know if I showed you guys. It was a spiral and it had a cat on it. And I kept all of Mom's stuff separate. And that didn't really work well for me because whenever I was going to have a conference with a nurse or do something like that, I needed to also at least be able to glance at what my other commitments were. Otherwise, I was juggling more than one. So anyway, we'll get into that though. That's, you know, challenges are good because they're, let's see, my counselor calls them opportunities, you know, basically. We don't talk about problems per se, we talk about opportunities. So yeah, I didn't take this off yet because I was going to do that after I did the video. Oh, it's got a nice, let's see. I can take it off now because I didn't bring my scissors, but anyway, I can go back in and cut the little tabs off. Yeah, it's got a nice Bible verse on the back too. It's purple, my favorite color, and it's just really wonderful. And I'm pretty sure my friend will be watching, so thank you very much for this. It's like an experiment for me because I've not had this size. And I already found out the paper's great, where I had a prejudice thinking that the paper wasn't going to be good. But it really is. And I like how it zips because being able to put a couple of pens that I'm going to use in it, it just, it helps me. See, if I run around the house looking for individual items, then that's where my distraction comes in. And a lot of times I end up doing 6 other things on the way to the, you know, on the way to finding the pen that I need for a certain planner. So I like pen loops and I like zippered things that will hold the pens. So let's see, where are we at? Okay, so to the best of my, oh no, we have one more set of notebooks. Okay, and this is odd, but this is the truth. I keep this really chunky CVS Caliber notebook with notes, which I hope I'm not going to run out anytime soon. It looks like I only have one more section. When I talk with Mom, when I talk with her staff or have any kind of meeting, then I put it in here because as overwhelming as this can be, at times I'll tab certain things and I'm doing a lot more of top tabbing on these. I don't know why. I probably thought that, let's see, one has my brother's name and then, yeah, so it must be there's something there that they often ask me about information or something. And I have phone numbers and everything in it. It's like a 5-subject notebook. I don't think I saved the actual, usually I save the actual paper and stick it in there. But this is really a godsend because it's all in one place. And I've got 2 before this that I filled up. So if I really want to go back, I date every page. So at least, if I could kind of know when it was, like if a medication was started or stopped or, what's going on, I can find it. It may take me a while, but I really feel comfortable that it's all in one place. And then this is a disgrace here. Oh, I got cat hair all over me. This is a disgraceful looking notebook from the outside, but I help Mom by also keeping track of her checkbook, but she manages her own checkbook. It's just that things get a little, if I'm ordering for her and it may be a day or 2 before we speak, then that's when it really, so we have to try to match. And I send her photocopies sometimes to make sure. And every month I do that. So this is just I don't even know what it is. GTC. I'm not really sure. It's probably a Walmart 10-cent or back in the day. I think things have changed a little bit now, but okay, so those are 2 notebooks. These stay in my drawer in my library, and when I'm going to talk to her or have a meeting or anything like that, I get the chunky one out. So that's a lot, but it doesn't feel overwhelming to me anymore because that's how I have kind of experimented over the years, that's how it has worked out well. So I think next, let's see, what did I put? Changes. Okay, well, we'll talk about that. So I just decided that the Hobonichi Weeks, I love it. I love them. I love the idea of it, but I don't like the paper for planning. The paper to me is too thin. And if I'm going to use an eraser or pencil, which I really kind of need to use pencil more often with appointments, especially my mom's appointments get changed around all the time, and I've got to come back in and erase. I don't like the thin Tomoe River paper for that, but I love those notebooks. So anywhere where I've had them in the past and I haven't finished them, I save them because I can go in there and do beautiful ink swatches in them. And so they're going to end up becoming ink ink journals, basically. I've got, last year I did pretty good, but then I kind of fell off and didn't really use it that much. So in the year before that, there's more ink than there is, appointments in it. The last time I used a week size calendar with success, it was a fake one. It was one off of Amazon that had thicker paper. Even though it wasn't totally fountain pen friendly, I still found it better for planning. So that's frustrating, because if for 1/4 the price you could get, the planner, but I had to fill in all the dates. So I really like this, even though it's larger, it doesn't really leave home anyway. I showed you what leaves home. That's that little cat. The little cat planner. I wouldn't know what to do without these, and I've saved them going back to, at least back to 2004 when I had my surgery. So I've now got more than 10 years worth of these. So if I'm looking for anybody's, what happened when, the larger perspectives, that if I don't remember, I have them all saved. So, but I really like this to try it out. It's a different size. It's a different paper. I can really see it, and there's room on here to do mom's and ours. That comes into the challenge part when I'm not really ready for it yet. So, change-wise, there's not a lot of change other than that I did stop using the Hobonichi Weeks. I still love my Galen leather cover though, and I've got a bunch of reporter notebooks that can go in those. And so that if I'm, doing research or I'm really feeling like I'm missing that, I can get that and make notes in it and stuff. But that's the one thing that bothers me, is that you couldn't pry that planner cover out of my hands, and yet I don't follow through with the Hobonichi Weeks. So that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I noticed I can fit the faux one in there, but I'm just not sold that I can deal with two like the same size and everything. It's not really any purpose, I guess, in that. So we'll see. I'll probably change my mind next year. You never know. Okay, so I wanted to show you a couple of the ones that I have lined up ahead, for next, because that's kind of fun. My food journal's about to run out, and I found this in, I'm shopping my own stash a lot this year, hopefully mostly this year. This is one that says D-A, oh my goodness, I cannot read that. D-A-L-E-R, Daler Rowney. I think it was supposed to be some sort of an art journal. But I looked at the paper and I thought about it, and I thought, I'm going to use this for my next food journal. It's a blank one. I'd already stuck a beautiful sticker on it, so I'm going to like it every time I pick it up. And it's got the nice, closure and everything. It's got a pocket in the back. I don't know that I'll need that, but I pretty much always stick things in these notebooks. So that'll be my next food journal one. I wonder why I have two of those. Oh, unless maybe this one would be my next Commonplace notebook. This came off Amazon. I got it with a gift card that I got from a generous pen friend. And I've got a little, it's got its own little pen loop. I think one of my thinner pens will fit on it. And it's lined. I haven't done the pen test yet. But for those little Commonplace notebooks, I'm not too worried. I was actually going to say, this size, this pocket size or A6 or whatever it is, in a semi-hardcover or hardcover, I just gobble these up like they were candy. I think I could order 12 and I would go through them. So that's an interesting thing that I've realized. I mean, I don't fight that kind of thing. When I find out what I like, it's like at a restaurant. I'm going to order the same thing because I'm going to enjoy it. So, okay. And then this was from a pen friend who'd like to stay anonymous, but this is my next bullet journal. It's the artist one. I'm going to take it out of the box so we can look at the cover. It's got a gorgeous cover and it's got that beautiful paper. Oh, it comes with a bunch of stickers, fun stickers, and it comes with the guide, the bullet journal guide, which is also a special edition. I guess this is what you call special edition, the artist one. And it's just gorgeous, isn't it? I can't wait to use it, but I can because I wouldn't never waste the paper that I'm in right now. But I do kind of feel like I can just be free with the pages in the one I'm in because I know that I have this one ready. You know, it's got the 120 GSM paper and the dot grid. So that's going to be next for the bullet journal. That, you know, that always tames the shopping. If I already know what I'm going to use next and I'm kind of focused in that way, then it helps me from impulse buying. And, you know, when I get the ad money, it's like, you know, I know what I like, but I'd like to keep it reasonable on my purchasing and stuff. Okay, so next up for the long form journaling is another one sent by pen friend MS, and this is a Piniter. I've never written on one of these. Made in Italy. It's 192 pages. I think it's lined. Lined, and that's the reason. It's semi-flexible. You know, it's got, and it's light, kind of lightweight. And I don't know anything about the paper yet. 80 GRS. I got to get into this and do a pen test, but I'm almost sure this is going to be really wonderful. So it's going to be the next one for that journal. And then I was getting ready to go to CVS to get another one of the process notebooks because I thought, okay, I could use something I have, but the CVS Caliber paper is so special. So what I found up in my stash was that I had the composition notebook by CVS Caliber, but that's not the same. I really need a spiral, especially when I'm talking with my counselor. I need to be able to flip pages and work. So I've got this one lined up. It turned up, I had one on there. I didn't have to go to CVS. Although I'd like to figure things out because the last couple times I've been to CVS, first off, they've closed one or two in our city, and so that worries me. And then second off, I haven't been able to find the filler paper, which I like and use quite a bit of that. So anyway, that's more of a fact-finding expedition, or when I'm in there for vitamins, I'll check and see what's going on, and maybe check out the larger one on the other side of town to see whether they're still carrying those things, especially if I can line it up with an ad revenue time. So, okay, I've got some strange notes that I don't understand, but let's see. So the next category I'd written down was my biggest challenges. Okay, so that, oh, that's what this is all about. Okay, having more than one planning tool, even having the little calendar that goes with me, which is essential. How can I stand in front of my loved ones, you know, the secretary at the doctor's office, and agree to the next appointment if I'm afraid that their appointment and Manuel's appointment might, like, be the same time. There's one vehicle, two drivers, you know, but still, you know, it gets crazy. So I've got to have this with me, and it needs to be thin because I'm not changing to a large bag or purse. You know, I just don't feel safe. I want my wallet around my neck, you know, with my phone, and that's the way I roll. So, but having the wall calendar and the little cat calendar. Okay, the bullet journal, I take quite a bit more time. I have a lot of time for that. So once a month, I fill in what I know from the wall calendar, you know, and the little pocket calendar. And, but at times, it can seem like juggling. It can seem like, well, okay, so how many places am I going to write each of these things down? But the wall calendar, actually we used to use one that was a wipe off, and I still have it. You know, you would fill in, it was, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's that stuff where you use the little markers that cleans off. Good heavens. Anyway, I liked that a lot, but I didn't like it because with the heart doctor, they're like 3 months ahead, and you know, you need to be able to see both the current month and the month. Anyway, it seems like the bank gives out calendars and the Dollar Tree has them for $1.25. So I have settled on that. And that seems to help both Manuel and I write everything on one calendar. And then he's got a perspective. Although tomorrow we've got to crash and burn because there was a sudden change that I wasn't consulted about. So I've got, right in the middle of his birthday, I've got a 30-minute Zoom appointment. But he's really good sport about it. It's just 12:30. Okay. You know, anyway, I want to be involved in that one. So, okay. So, having those multiple things. The other thing is I noticed about myself, which I don't know if it's a challenge or not, but I don't use any electronic planning, which, you know, and then when I say any, there's one exception. There's the larger care team meetings where it's really super important and it's going to be like the manager and the nurse and me and maybe even my brother. Then I press the button when I get the email to put it on the calendar, which I don't even understand. You know, I mean, Google is just, it's got a whole life of its own and it knows more about me than I do. But I do press that button so that it pops up or it gives me texts. It helps me, even though I don't think the chances are good of me forgetting those because I check the wall calendar every day. And I'm aware of stuff, and I know I have to check the wall calendar every day to have any idea what's going on. So, oh dear. You know, in the first part of the month, we had cat appointments and everything else. Oh my goodness. And they were separated because apparently Toby had his series of shots and booster, and so his rabies wasn't lined up with the other two, which is a good thing because taking 3 at one time is no fun. So anyway, so then the next thing, okay, so being so old school and disliking the electronic stuff, I sometimes wonder if there could be some easier tools or some way to do it, but I don't trust myself to input the information correctly. I don't know whether I would do it right or anything. So anyway, oh yeah, and then the third thing I wrote down was pencil. Frequent changes. So on the wall calendar, there's a big box. There's quite a bit of room and I can just line through. I don't write huge on that. So I can just line through when things change. But on the little tiny calendar, and of course, here I am with a pen. I don't tend to carry a pencil in that tiny little thing that I carry around everywhere, the rickshaw. I really need to write in pencil in these. The boxes are really small. So if I've got a bunch of changes, then I don't have room for what else comes up. But, you know, it works out. It just is messy as ever. And I do like keeping track of what got canceled because it kind of, when my mom says, everything gets canceled every single time. Well, I can actually see how many appointments were rescheduled or canceled. And then this one, this is a Sarsa Mark-On Zebra 0.5. This one I really like because it doesn't seem to bleed through. It works really good on this really thin paper. And so did my Platinum Preppy 05, so that my pen test in the back. It's really nice when you can find that what you already want to use works with these cheaper papers, because it's not always the case. Okay, so I guess that covers challenges. It's not like I sit around thinking about challenges all the time. I'm messy, and I could get some like white out, like the strip stuff that you can white out over things, but I never seem to do that. Or if I have one, I can't find it, you know, on my desk. But I know I have one, actually right now I know where it is, because a pen friend sent me one that had like that's sort of the off-white color and the white color on the other end to white out with, and that is amazing. I've been meaning to look into where, you know, all about those, how much they are and where to get them, because I'm running right through it. Okay, so the next thing I wrote down was primary purposes, but I think I covered that as I went, you know. So this is quite a bit more of an answer than you were probably looking for. And I remember way back when I did a similar video years ago. And I remember getting comments like, oh my gosh, how do you keep up with so many? But I don't feel that way anymore. I don't, it doesn't, other than the challenges that I mentioned, the fact that things can change, and I do sometimes feel it, like having to make sure that when I get home, this doesn't just sit in that bag. And so here's Manuel in the other room making his next appointment, and we might have something, for the cats or for the other loved one. He needs to be aware of it. So I need to be very good about transferring onto the other calendar, at least the wall calendar. And it helps me personally if I keep my bullet journal updated. But, I'm looking at that so much. I'm in my bullet journal all the time, every day. I could sometimes, if it gets really busy, I'll skip a day because I don't have really time. And I would prefer to do the long form writing. That's something that just seems to help with the mental health and well-being more, But, yeah. So I enjoy all these notebooks, and there are a lot of these that I would not have, even discovered or written in or found out about if it hadn't been for the generosity. But I've got so many ahead now that I know that I just need to keep going, keep using them, and not be afraid to use the good stuff. That's the main message, that I'm giving myself over and over. So I did circle bullet journal because I asked myself if I had to leave, which sometimes I do. I go to Vermont. What would I take? What would be the most valuable to me? Well, the little calendar, that takes up hardly any space. The little bitty one, that goes with me anyway, and kind of helps me write down what's going to happen, the flight days and all that. But it'd be the bullet journal. That would be the one journal where I could use it for everything during the trip. And it is a little bit heavy, but it's worth it. It's worth it to carry it right in my backpack, my carry-on. So that would be the one. And then, when I got home, I'd have to look forward to all the fun stuff, Now, I'm trying to remember what I did about food journal. I know I still keep track of myself when I'm away, which I'm not away very much, but I just don't remember whether I wrote that all in the bullet journal. I know in the past one time I did a weekly calendar, which I don't normally do in the bullet journal, and I kept track of my food and everything. Mostly it's the fasting interval, and if I check my blood sugar, if I have anything interesting to write down, like this food didn't agree with me or whatever, then I need to keep up with that. So anyway, wow, this is got to be one of the longest videos ever, and I didn't really plan it to be long. It just is. So it's a lot of fun though, in a time when I'm looking for things that bring joy and order, somewhat, and also a chance to just, like I said, get all of this stuff out of my brain and trust that if it's planning purposes, it's going to be there. I'm not going to forget anything because it's there. Or like in the case of my mom's notebook, the reason I like the good CVS Caliber paper for this is that I literally take a swipe past my desk and pick up a fountain pen right before I call her. And so I can use any of my fountain pens in this in this monstrosity. Wow, I really got to look for, well, I say that, but there's got to be something up on the shelf. Yeah, there's probably another one that's got fountain pen friendly paper in a spiral format. I'm sure there is. That's something for me to look for, because purchasing new stuff, it's not what this year is really all about at all. So, okay, I have just gone on. I think I'm getting better. It's just that whenever I have a coughing spell or a really bad sudden sneeze, then I can feel where I hurt myself on January 1st coughing. And so although I feel like everything's clearing up, I've got my voice back. I don't have my full appetite back yet. For those who don't know, I had COVID for the first time in December 2024, and it's been almost a month, and it seems I had a couple little minor complications, but on the mend now. So I'm behind with everything, but I've chosen to focus mainly on trying to catch up on pen pal writing. And the ink and all of that, when I do my progress report, I'm just going to lay bare the truth of how it's going in my ink journal and what I've done and not done. And I have no idea when we get there, which is just a few days away, where I'll be at. But I'm going to try to realize that recovering and also, you know, prioritizing, because really just catching up in the ink journal is not as important to me as catching up when I'm 1 to 2 months behind on my pen pal letter writing. That's not acceptable to me, even being sick, you know, because I can sit at the desk, I can write letters, and I can, you know, find something other than negative to talk about. So okay, I'm going to end the video now, and I would really like to have these conversations in the comments, which I'm behind on the comments, but I've been there before, and I will catch up. I've got a new tool over at the desk that's making things a lot faster. It's got Windows 11, and I've got it all hooked up to the big screen and the keyboard and all of that, so I'm good. And I think that'll help me catch up too. So I will see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video, which should be the progress report. And let me know in the comments, what do you use for notebooks? I know that there's several of you that are going to think that I am absolutely crazy for having so many going, you know. And then there's some of you who use way more notebooks than I do. So it's everything in between, and I think it's fun. It's all fun, and it's all, well, useful tools, really. That's what it's all about. So I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for being here. Stay safe out there.